Now this. Our next guest says President-elect Trump's win in November was biblical and evidence of the hand of God. Reverend Franklin Graham joins us now. Reverend, welcome to the program. You did indeed tell my colleague Lou Dobbs last night that this was evidence of the hand of God. Are you saying that the Almighty intervened in the election on the side of Donald Trump? I hear you laughing.
Stuart, well, I'm laughing. It's just the way you're presenting it. I believe God's hand was in it. Now, I don't have a stack of lost emails to pull out and to show as evidence. It's just my opinion, Stuart. I think God showed up. And the reason is I went to last year. I took 9 months and I went to all 50 state capitals to hold prayer rallies. And people came by the thousands. They didn't come to hear me. They came to stand on their capitol steps to pray and confess their sins to God, the sins of this nation to God. And I encouraged them to go to the polls and vote. I never supported any candidate, but I just encouraged them to vote. And I believe this election, again, Donald Trump was supposed to lose, but I believe the Church of Jesus Christ came to the polls, and I think they voted. And I think it made a difference in this election. So, yes, I think it's the hand of God.
And do you think it is, by the way, I want to tell our viewers that on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see leading Republicans who are gathering for a news conference. They've been meeting with Vice President-elect Mike Pence. They're coming out of that meeting. That is Mr. McCarthy. We're going to listen in briefly to see what the Republicans have to say. This is about Obamacare. Listen in, please.
The Trump-Pence team, they had the wisdom to listen, and now they have the courage to lead America. When you watch on the floor today, we're going to start with that courage. We've watched what has happened to the jobs across this country, the regulations that has been impounded for the last 8 years. You'll see this week that we will bring up the REINS Act. Many of you know about that legislation. It simply says give the people a voice when it comes to regulation in America. The REINS Act only deals with those bills of regulation that get imposed upon that cost more than $100 million on business. You'd think there would have been a few of those. But if you look in just the last 6 years...
Now, earlier we heard that Governor Pence, Vice President-elect Pence, had told Republicans he wants an Obamacare repeal bill on the President Trump's desk by February the 20th. That was the result of a meeting that Vice President-elect Pence had with leading Republicans. They'd just come out of that meeting, and they're now talking to the media and explaining what went on. We'll get back to it when they break some news there. But the real news is, February the 20th, the Republicans want that bill on the President's desk to repeal Obamacare. Now, I want to get Reverend Graham's comment on this news story. It's coming to us from France. A presidential candidate there, François Fillon, is being praised because he's not shying away from being a Catholic. Liz, to you first, what's he saying here?
He essentially goes to church and Benedictine monasteries. What is going on in France, polls show, is that the people of France are returning to their Christian traditions and roots as a bulwark against Islamic terrorism, that they've seen a rise in Islamic terrorist attacks. And by the way, point taken, Fillon is essentially saying, I will respect the secular tradition of France. I will not let my Catholicism affect that policy.
Reverend Graham, I'm sure you heard that. That sounds like a return to the Judeo-Christian ethic and Christian principles in Europe. I think you were talking about that in America as well, correct, sir?
Yes, and I believe we're seeing that in Europe, and I think we're seeing it right here in the United States. Our country's in trouble, Stuart. Listen, the Democrats can't fix it. The Republicans can't fix this without God's help. We've gone too far. We're in trouble. We're in trouble in every sector of our country, and we just need God's help. And so that's what I think this election was about. I think people saw across this country that our country needed a change. We needed to go a different direction. And I do believe God's hand was in this. So, yes, we're in trouble, but let's ask God, let's ask Him for help. And we're seeing that in Europe, and I think we're seeing that across this country. People are willing to speak out and call on the name of God.
And we'll be waiting to see you at the inauguration, Reverend Graham, on January the 20th. And, sir, thank you very much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir.